Welcome back. Thank you so much for rejoining what is proven to be a beautiful conversation this morning. So much light and shade when we hone in on Africa Day. What an opportunity to celebrate. And every year on the 25th of May, that's exactly what we do. Celebrate, not commemorate, celebrate Africa Day, a day to celebrate our country and continent's diversity, the successes despite the challenges, and of course, to highlight all the cultural and economic potential that exists here on this continent more than anywhere else in the world. Africa Day is also all about celebrating those victories of African unity through the fight against colonialism and apartheid in our context. And that wasn't just a South African journey. And just to see how far we actually have come in the midst of all this negative news.
Absolutely. So many different ways to take that initiative and celebrate, big or small. And we've got a scoop on how you can spend this day. I love this because you can really get creative, because there's so much to celebrate with regards to the continent of Africa and everything that it holds dear. Now, since Africa Day falls within the week, it can be a fantastic opportunity for teachers to get involved as well. Now, teachers can incorporate some classic African literature, maybe even take kids on excursions to museums, galleries, or maybe historical sites as well, or watch movies or documentaries about African music, geography, agriculture, or any historical figures as well, which could be a great way to spend a day at school.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love these days at school where you got to like break from the norm. So this is an opportunity, guys.
Break out the projector.
Yeah, man, have a little bit of fun, man. Get one of those projectors, put it up on the school hall wall. But there is an opportunity to explore this beautiful continent around us. And a way to do that is not go to the ends of the continent, but to the ends of your streets. Just look within your community where there is a need. Back the NGOs, the local charities, those individuals, the gogos in your community who are looking after the community. Use an opportunity like this to make real, tangible connections. Find out who's feeding the kids, who's mobilizing, who's looking after the homeless in your area. How can you feed your community in this way? That's what it's about.
It's a great way to go about learning as well as to what is going on around you. Maybe some struggles that you haven't heard of or known about, exactly with regards to your
close
own
to
backyard.
home, yeah.
Another thing that you can look at is educate yourself on the true meaning of Africa Day. Now, Africa Day also signifies the collective struggle against colonialism, which led, of course, to eventual independence, which is a huge step forward, you know, when it happened for the continent of Africa.
Completely, because it doesn't speak to the past. And I want you to try and think of this without the context of judgment, but rather what do we need to do now to maintain and continue the momentum, the inertia of change that's not based on our past or our future, that's based on your lived experience right now.
Exactly. I mean, that is the narrative. The past is there and is there for a good reason, and it's good to remember all the things that happened. But I mean, for now, we must use that knowledge and step forward and make this country as great as it can, the continent, you know, and use it to its full potential, because we got so much talent, people.
For me, the cheat code here is to educate yourself. It's impossible for you to drive this message and truly understand if you don't know. So get this, there are over 3,000 different ethnicities, more than 2,100 languages feeding out of that diversity. So read up, start learning another language. Just do a deep dive into another culture. Watch those documentaries. We are spoilt at the moment to have amazing pieces of cinema to take us into the emotional context of that journey, that story. The beautiful thing is when you start looking outward, you learn about what's inside. Hold up a mirror. Have a look at your own culture, your own connection to your country, but educate yourself first.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just a last point very quickly, something that we do very well here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, embrace traditional cuisine.
Oh, 100%.
Look at it. There's so much on the African menu that I'm sure you can fall in love with a multiple of different dishes out there. And this is one thing that you can educate yourself on, the foods, because we all love food and there's so much diversity.
Every day of the week, try something new and go for the staples, like the jollof rice I talk about all the time because I just love that kind of vibe. But for me, the best way to experience another country like Ghana, I just went street food. I literally just went from stall to stall to stall because you're meeting the person behind the food, the culture behind, and you're dealing with 9 generation chefs living and carrying that culture forward. So I think we're going to celebrate Africa Day undoubtedly with food. How are you going to do it? What nation do you come from and what makes you special? Let us know if you're from Kenya, if you're from Botswana, if you're from Zimbabwe, one of our neighbors. Let us know why your country is amazing and we will do the same.